Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we're going to be talking about two altcoins that are utility tokens that are absolutely going parabolic from my entry points. And we're going to talk about four assets that I do think that are gems that you could actually purchase right now in regards to their price action, because they are basically almost at bottomed out levels. Now, in regards to utility tokens, first off, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Nick, and essentially what I do is I only invest in utility-driven assets that are undervalued and also, in my sense, have a bright future in store for them. And essentially, anything that I do post on this channel is backed by either TA, FA, or just overall, just kind of research that I've done on these assets from a standpoint of perspective in terms of a utility-driven asset. So, when I look at any specific asset, I make sure that there is one utility behind it, transparency, make sure that the holders are not holding a large amount of it just to, provide more clarity on in case of like rug pulls, manipulation of the asset, whatever the case may be. So, just to give you guys a clarification, this is not financial advice, but I will say this. There is a lot of assets in this space. There's 11,961, as you guys do see up at the top left. So it is very hard to find these undervalued gems before they really do pop. Now, if you guys do want more clarity on how I find these gems, you can find a strategy that I have on my website, NCashOfficial.com. And once we really kind of talk about these assets, you guys might get some clarity on why I invested in them. So first and foremost, DAG. So I've talked to you guys about DAG when it was below 4 cents. I've actually was talking about this at around 3 cents. This is a gem in the making. This is almost similar to HBAR in a way, but not exactly in the sense of it being an enterprise grade asset. This is more so, this is still for, I would say this is community driven, but it is for payments and all that kind of stuff. It is also, utilized in government ways. I think right now at the current prices, it's not a bad entry point. We could have seen a little bit lower. Overall, DAG, for what it is worth, is a great asset to hold long term. I think it does have an incredible, future ahead of it. Now, I don't see any holders tab, so we can't actually see the amount of holders that there is behind this asset, but we could see where you can get it in terms of the market. You can get it on LCX as well as KuCoin. I personally bought this when it was very low, so I did have to use KuCoin. You could use LCX if you wanted to. LCX is a little bit harder to buy, but it's not too bad. I wish that this was on Uniswap, because Uniswap is a lot easier for those that aren't too advanced into crypto, but KuCoin is most likely your best option in a sense. But they are doing incredible things from the overall point of view in regards to transactional speeds. They do have unlimited transactions right now. They have 112 nodes. So if you are running a node on Constellation, if you guys have been running a node on Constellation from like down below 3 cents, you are probably earning a lot of residual income from this asset. They do have a lot of overall utility cases behind them. Now, I just want to show you guys their solutions for enterprise as well as federal. Now, they are partnered with LCX. As you guys already know, LCX is another one of my holders, and actually it's in this video, so just wait for that as well. So overall, this is going to take a little bit of time to load, but they do have a lot of cases or use cases in federal as well. This is actually talking about federal government as well as also applications in government in regards to secure interoperability, anti-spoofing, data validation, data logistics as well. They also are working with the United States Air Force, I believe. So we do see communicate securely from ground, air, and space. So yeah, overall, I think what really brought me into this asset was the Air Force partnership. I think that was incredible. But overall, I did some research on this a long time ago, and I did make a deep dive video on this. So if you do want to learn more about that, you guys could check that out. But that is the federal use cases. They also have enterprise grade use cases talking about how data is basically the new oil, and how them basically solving these problems for data uses and utility cases are going to provide immense value. And I do completely agree with that. I do think that data is going to be one of the best things in the future when we talk about a lot of money flowing through. Now, we do see that they are partnered with the Lattice, or Lettuce if you want to call it, exchange. Now, this is talking about an incredible exchange overall. This is pretty much their other use case. So this is also very cool. This is LTX, not LCX. Sorry, I confused the two, but it is all good. Now this is actually fairly cool. We do see that the Q2 of 2022 is on here as well in regards to what they're going to do in phase 3. We're essentially in phase 2, so broader blockchain ecosystem, cross-chain integrations, and swapping. So overall, the tokenomics of this asset is not too bad either. I mean, personally speaking, LTX could be a good asset to invest in, but we're more so talking about DAG, and I think that DAG is still fairly early in terms of its price. I still think that we can go much higher. In regards to the all-time high, it is currently at about 45 cents. And anybody who was buying when I bought, you are reaping the benefits because we bought back in, I think, May when I made that video. So it was around 3 cents exact almost. So overall, this is an undervalued gem from one of my videos earlier in the year, and I hope that a lot of people did enter. Now, LCX is also going a little bit parabolic from my entry points. Again, this one you pretty much got in at ground floor levels under 4 cents. I was talking about this when it was under 4 cents back in even August, so only a month ago. And this asset has ran tremendously. They do have multiple partnerships with a few assets. I think that they are partnered with DAG. I want to say that they are partnered with DAG. I don't know though, but I do know that they are partnered with HBAR, which obviously anything that is HBAR driven, I buy in without a doubt. That's why I'm in Stack as well. Stack is also a great utility token, and I think that we are still at very good levels with that. So if you guys do, that's another asset that I actually don't have included in this video, but that is a great utility token. Now, in regards to the holders tab, we are still very early, 8,000 holders. The price is still fairly good. We are sitting at about $112 million market cap. So I still think that we are very early on LCX for what it is worth. And if you did want to get into this asset, I think around this level or a little bit lower could be the possible good entry point. Like the low on the 24-hour span was 10 cents. So just be a little bit cautious when you do enter into this asset, or if you are looking to enter into it. So next, I do want to talk to you guys about some undervalued gems. So UDO is extremely undervalued from my original entry points, but I added in more. So this is a very good asset to hold, in my opinion. Now, obviously, the price action has not been good, but let's go look at the 3-month span, and let's actually go back to some resistance points or support zones. So I do think that we could see some support bottoming out around or in between the 17 or the 12 cent, the 12 cent zone to around the 14 cent zone. So we could see a little bit lower. Now, obviously, the volume is actually up significantly, up 52%, while the market cap and fully diluted market cap is down. Circulating supply about 36 million. We do see that the total supply is about 115 million. Now, there is no holders tab on this. We can't see how many holders there are. But I just will say this is very undervalued for what they are actually doing. I did, again, on UDO, I did a little bit of a deep dive on one of my undervalued gems videos. I still think that this one is very undervalued for what it is worth. You could actually get this on, wow, my voice is like dying right now. You could actually get this on Uniswap. Again, Uniswap is one of those, exchanges where you're going to have to pay gas fees, but the profit point on some of these undervalued gems will pay off that gas fee very, very easy. So next, I do want to talk to you guys about Plethora. Yes, I did make an error in my original video on this one as they were upgrading their token. But this one does have a holders tab. The volume is up. It's only at about 38.6K volume. I don't know if this is the accurate one. I do know that Plethora on CoinGecko. So let me go to coingecko.com and actually go to Plethora on there, because that is probably the more accurate one. So let's go to PLE and make sure that we have the right one. So here is Plethora. So overall, we do see that they recently migrated from the old contract to the new one, which is totally fine. It is sitting around that 8 cent zone. This one, again, when we talk about this, let's go to the candles. Actually, I want to go to the candles and go to the 30-day span. Actually, let's go to the 90-day span. So we do see that this is just a bottoming out zone overall. Let's actually go back to this chart because it is a lot easier to actually kind of read. Now, in regards to the current price, we could see a bottoming out zone at around where we are at currently, but I do think that we go a little bit lower, maybe even retest around the 8-cent zone flat. But again, in regards to this, I think that we are still very early for what it is worth, for what Plethora is actually doing. And let's actually go back to CoinMarketCap, as they do have a holders tab for this asset, and it is a lot more visually easier to see. Now, obviously, this is when they were upgrading their token, so you really couldn't get in at these points, but we do see that, you know, when I was talking about this, we're still in good profit point from when I was talking about Plethora, but the holders tab and also the all-time high is about 50 cents, but the holders tab, there's only 886 addresses, which technically you could say a lot of people were selling, but I think it was more so the upgrading of the token. Again, I still think that Plethora is still undervalued, which also leads us to my next asset, which is YOP. Again, 10 million in circulating supply. These are very low cap assets, and we could actually see the holders tab for this. And we could also see, you know, I don't really like the fact that 42.84% is held by the number one address, but again, for what it is worth, it's a very minimal asset, very low cap gem. There's only 4,677 holders, and I still think there is some money to be made here, especially in regards to the bottoming out stage that they are at, basically almost at 33 cents exact, which I think is a fairly good entry point overall. In regards to these assets, these are very minimal gem assets. I think that a lot of them are very micro cap assets with a lot of upward potential. Going back to even February, this was trading at about $3.70. So, you know, the upward potential on a lot of these assets is incredible, especially even when we go look back at ALBT or Alliance Block, another gem that I was telling you guys about at very minimal levels. Again, a lot of these assets have incredible upward potential. From my points down here at about 20 cents, look at the chart from that level. It's incredible. The upward momentum is insane on some of these assets. Again, 15,547 holders. We do see that the number one address is holding about roughly 29.5%, but a lot of the percentages held, like even on YOP, even on UDO and stuff like that, a lot of the max supply or total supply is actually powering the, you know, ecosystem. And when we talk about that, a lot of the, you know, asset supply is actually being burned or staked in a staking pool. So it doesn't really matter about the total supply or max supply unless the tokenomics are absolutely terrible. For the most part, all of these assets look extremely strong. So in the case on these assets, I think a lot of these utility-driven tokens are going to have an incredible future, especially when we talk about UDO, YOP, PLE, or Plethora. LCX and also even DAG are still in their early stages, so I think that there's still a lot of upward momentum left in them. Obviously, you know, if you do want to learn more about them, obviously do your own research. This is not financial advice. Again, I did the research. I think that these are great, you know, assets for what I've seen, but definitely do your own research before investing into anything, you know, no matter about who is talking about it or anything on YouTube or anything like that. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys don't want free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.